One question I get asked all the time is, do I need to hold these threads when I start to sew? A lot of you might do this because of habit from previous machines. How many of you held your thread so your thread didn't come flying out of the needle when you started to sew? I'm going to show you why that happened and why this machine is so much easier to use and you don't have to hold on to these threads. So I usually do put that top thread down the middle of the foot and make sure it's just kind of hanging out back here, even to the back or even off to the side, maybe about 9 o'clock. That is all within range. Next, when you start, you want to make sure that your needle will come down into your fabric first. So if it comes into the air, yeah, you probably do want to hold on to those threads. But if you slide your fabric far enough in and lower down your presser foot, you're good to go. Now, the reason we had issues in the past, probably when you're working with a mechanical machine, is because of this. When people would sew and they would stop sewing, they would often bring their needle up, but they never brought the take-up lever to the highest position. So if you pulled your fabric out now and cut the thread, what the machine's going to do next is finish the last stitch, pull the thread out of the needle while it's coming up to the highest position. Your thread right now is actually going backwards through your needle. I know that sounds weird, but if you actually look, you can see it. So that's why we held those threads. So on this machine, because our needle always stops at the highest position, you can easily pull the fabric out knowing that the stitch is complete. See the take-up lever? It's at the highest position. And then when you start again, you don't have to hold those threads when you start to sew. Because you completed the last stitch, it's ready to go forward with the next stitch. So, moral of the story is, if you're going to turn the hand wheel, you have to bring this all the way up to the highest position. I recommend that you just kind of not turn the hand wheel very often. I only touch it when I'm maybe trying to position my needle to start on that exact point. But really, when the machine stops with the needle at the highest position, you don't have to turn the hand wheel. Let the machine do the work for you, and it's going to be a lot simpler as you start and stop for each of the seams you're sewing.